The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
What is happening, everybody? It is my favorite day of the week. It's Friday, and Friday, you know, Saturday's for the boys, but Friday is for us. I'm in a dark room tonight because I accidentally yanked out all of my LED lighting. So into the trash that goes. Oops. That was fantastic. Yeah, real fantastic. So joining me as always is my left-hand man, the author himself, David Applegate.
G'day, friends and fans. Welcome to another men's room. That's right. Saturday may be for the boys, but Friday night's for the men.
Yeah, I like that. Channel Brian Late, what's up, man?
Chirp.
Good talk, Late.
Good job, Late. Good talk. Good talk. Good talk, Blake. That man chuckling in the background, the Anime Night.
What's up, guys? Lots to talk about today, and also happy Friday.
Yeah. Last but not least, we got the man from the NWO himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Superfan M. Shawhan.
What's up, man? This should be fun. Yeah, lots going on, and happy Friday. We're still here.
Yay. Dude, I am. Man, he just left. I'm so like bummed. All my lights like died. Luckily, like Amazon came into the clutch. I got 100 foot of LED lighting that's brand new and intact. Intact, not broken in pieces. I was so angry because I was like, all I did was I straightened out my shelves. Like, see, I had one that was like flat and it had all my action figures on it. And then I had a wall of like 3 different shelves. And I figured I'll just turn that one around and have nice flat like display area. But when I did, dude, it like all of them were hooked together because the rope lighting, and it just came apart. And the first one broke and I was like,
Barely
I was so angry. What's up, Late? Are you gonna talk? You're still muted. Here. Let's give him full screen.
Hello?
Oh my gosh, he's there.
Hey, he can talk.
He figured
What's up,
it out.
man? Look at
What?
you.
Don't look at me.
Labe,
Not
how are you
worth
doing,
looking
man?
at.
We're just looking at you. And my
I am thankful. I am thankful to the various volunteer fire departments in and around Johnson County and the Tennessee State Forestry Department for putting out the wildfire that got within about a quarter mile of our house.
Wow.
Yesterday.
Here,
And I'm being serious.
Where is it?
And then it rained today.
Wow.
There you go.
And then it rained.
Some guys at the top of the mountain decided to clear brush, and it got out of hand, and so they got their land cleared by the state. So I'm betting they're going to get a nice bill for that.
Yay, tax dollars.
Maybe even jail time.
Oh,
Unless they
tax
burn
dollars.
blue, then they probably won't.
Yeah, I don't know how many acres they burned, but they didn't quite burn anybody's house.
I'm luckily nobody got their houses burned. Realistically, like that's what we should be saying. But that stinks, man.
Yeah, it doesn't stink as bad. Yesterday it was like a big heavy campfire, but when I let the dogs out about 10:30 last night, they were still up there with the chainsaws chopping down the last burning. So we went up to the top. We could look across and see it. And you could see trees on fire and all that. So you had to cut those down.
Dang, that's crazy.
So, yep.
Anybody else have anything comparable to that? I mean, I fell off a ladder today. So I mean, does that count?
Oh yeah.
No, a booktube featured my book. I didn't even
That's
ask
cool.
them. They thought my book was amazing, and they featured it in one of their articles after reading my book. So that was great.
Nice.
Off to a
I'd rather
good
have that
start.
than a forest fire.
Yeah, yeah. Now, while I was looking for topics yesterday, it started a chain reaction. First, I was looking at Disney, and there wasn't really much there. It's just more of the same. But then there was this breaking news on this thing called the Terminator. And then since then, I've get nothing but breaking news on. Even sent one set on the new minigun.
Oh yeah, minigun go.
Yeah, that was awesome. 35 millimeter, 5,000 rounds.
Minigun go.
I ain't got time to sleep.
So that was such a funny, like anytime. So when we played Uncharted, there was a weapon in the Uncharted game called the China Lake, and me and David made the funniest comments when it came to this thing. It was just always just like anytime it was a minigun or anything, it was like minigun go brrr, minigun go brrr, China Lake go boom, China Lake go boom, or chunky salsa.
Chunky salsa, or the best one, payback, is when you shot that guy almost point blank and just set, and it actually was like slow motion bits.
Oh yeah. No, there was one where I hit this dude dead. Like I had the rocket launcher, the China Lake. It's a grenade launcher, and I shot this dude, and I mean, like it just was like a thunk, and then you just see it. You see it. It made contact with that dude's head, and it was just gone. Dude was obliterated, and I yelled out, "Chunky salsa!"
And the thing is, that was the only time
China number one.
If it wasn't for lag, we wouldn't have seen it in slow motion.
Oh yeah, dude, that was crazy.
That was crazy. It slowed down the
Chunky
system so much.
salsa. So apparently there is a real flame-throwing dog, which I need one of those for the property. Maybe that'll scare the bear away.
Maybe.
$10,000 will get you a dog drone with a first-person view camera with a 30-foot flamethrower that can fire a couple of times.
Whoa. Wow. What a hole.
And it's legal in 48 states.
Wow.
Well, I mean, they're not protecting the border wall, so we got to protect our property somehow, right?
Yeah. Can you imagine if a million Texans had those right now?
So who's up for burnt tacos or burnt chicken?
Chimichangas. Give me the chimichangas. I mean, that would be kind of cool. Imagine these patrolling the perimeter of the border, like a whole bunch of them every 20 feet.
Yeah.
Of course,
anything
that'd be our taxpayers. Yeah,
they'd be patrolling the border, but our side of it.
Yeah,
keeping you in, yeah.
Side of the or what was it? You're coming with, dead or alive. You're coming with me.
Hey, it gives a whole new meaning of Ring of Fire, right?
Yeah, dead or alive. I'm catching you on fire.
Hey, go through the port where you're supposed to. Don't come in illegally, and you won't be flambéed. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Hey, show up for your court date and prove you're a genuine refugee.
Oh, dude, here's a video. I'm gonna mute it because I don't know that it's got music behind it. That's dope.
I mean, who needs to play video games if we could be doing this while on the screen?
Dude, I would do this. This would be coffee and gaming. It's just me running around through the woods, keeping the border secure. You dirty illegals.
So how long?
This one's from China.
How long until we get the rocket launcher dog?
Well, I mean, as easy as it is to switch out a flamethrower for a rocket launcher.
That's just part of the upgrades.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an assault dog.
Now, the reason why I got this article Now, the reason why I got the Terminator article is yesterday it was trending, because they were, yeah.
Now, I say it jokingly, but remember, Skynet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, look at this.
If I ever win the
This
lotto,
is a
I'm
forest.
gonna
This
buy
is why
free
Lape has a
gas.
forest fire.
Well, they filled it with gasoline and petro.
What is that spinning around? It's like with the mouth of the
That's
dog
what I
would
was
be.
wondering.
That's
What
its
is that?
that's its 3D camera. And it actually has a situational awareness camera around it.
Okay, so it's constantly scanning everywhere.
Yeah, it's constantly scanning around it. Yeah.
I figured that was
Dude,
just
that's
You
crazy.
better learn where to point the AR for when those are coming after you.
Yeah.
Oh, guess what dropped yesterday at the same time? A twin-barreled AR-15 with 2 clips.
Magazines.
Sorry, magazines. Thank you for correcting me. I don't know why I say clip.
It happened. Somebody
Yeah,
at
it
work today
happens.
said that too, and I was like,
I have not heard the dogs bark at all. They didn't bark on Vinny's stream or anything. He said the wrong word. You just pissed off the German in here, man. Damn. Little pasty ass better get it right.
Now
the
Dude,
third drone that dropped. Yes,
go
sorry,
ahead,
man. Go ahead. I was just going to say there were 3 drones that dropped yesterday. The second one, the guy who created the Oculus set created a drone. It's really small, but it's like a powerful. It's a quadcopter and it hovers for like 6 hours, and it's like and it actually homes in on the nearest. It detects, homes in on another drone, and explodes on contact. So it actually, apparently, the U.S. government just bought $6 billion worth of drones to send to Ukraine.
Reminds
so
me of
there's your healthcare, Adam.
drone.
Hey, my healthcare. It's Tommy Gunn bought them all. He's gonna bet the Oculus people, and like that son of a bitch was like all about that fucking thing. Tommy bought.
The third one.
If I win the lotto.
Yeah, the third one, they actually built an aircraft carrier to carry a remote control aircraft carrier to carry these drones out the sea.
Where's my MQ-27 Dragonfire?
It's
Where's
like,
that at?
Some days you get almost no news, and then come Friday, all the wackos come out to play.
Yeah.
Basically, if I won the lotto, I would buy everyone that flamethrower dog.
The freaks come
Everybody
out at
in
night,
this room.
No, but for some reason, normally, if you want to sell something like drones, you're going to drop them on Monday, right? Not on Friday. Not on Friday morning. But for some reason, Friday in the very early AMs, they dropped all these drones.
Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Well, obviously, because they're all military application drones. They're not they're not seriously selling these to civilians. These are all advertising the moment why were they dropped? Because 6 hours earlier, Congress passed a huge spending bill on military aid. So all the drone companies making military drones dropped their ads.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. The 3 big ones that trended were a Terminator drone, the Terminator drone, and an aircraft carrying drone. Let's see if you haven't got enough drones.
How many billions does that make for Ukraine yet?
They spent 6 already out of the 61, and the total is 224 billion and counting.
How much
it's all
of that
monopoly
makes it back
money
to the...
anyway. So who cares?
Yeah, well, how much of it goes back into the DNC? Through
all of it,
through various things, and
well, depends on the organization. Anywhere from 6% to 25% makes it to Ukraine.
Shoot, with that money, I would be able to.
No,
buy,
that's just the big man. That's all.
If I had that money, I would buy everybody home defense turns. Like auto turns, be like, here you go, Adam. Here's one for you. Here you go, Seth. Here's one for you. Just push this button, and it'll pop right up, and there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of money, have you guys heard about this this super mayor?
Superman. What's this Superman business?
All right,
I meant to ask you about it.
Y'all need to check this out. This is hang on, let me find her. I want to make sure I know her name. Let's see. I had it pulled up here just a minute ago. Super Mayor from Illinois, Tiffany A. Henyard from Dilton, Illinois. Now, this chick is being investigated by like even the feds are trying to get with her.
Well, right up there with Eric Adams, eh?
She essentially turned herself into a dictator. She's gone in and upped the budget of like what she's being paid. Then she turned around and stopped paying the city bills. Like the city is like upside down and all these different there's even like the things that you would pay the city to do, the city is failing on.
Yep.
Like their water, their electricity, and all that stuff is like being shut down.
Whoa.
Because instead of paying for their own equipment to be done, they're outsourcing it for a cheaper cost and then
not paying the bill.
Not paying bills. But she got a brand new Tahoe. A brand like she's done got herself all hooked up with all these different things and whatnot.
Not only oh, how dare her.
Yeah, dude. So
she's reparations and all.
Yeah, this chick's getting
hit it on the nail.
Yeah. Accused of mishandling funds, lavish trips, and $1 million security detail.
Can do no wrong. I mean, look at the one that was going after Trump that was going on, love cruises with her boyfriend on the tax dollars. It's ridiculous.
Hey, she makes Eric Adams look like a freaking saint, He's under investigation, if you didn't catch on, after he criticized Joe. What a coincidence, right?
Oh, yeah. Total coincidence, Dave.
You want another coincidence? Remember when Trump went to
of course. It's an nerd chimpanzee with light hair.
Yeah. Remember when Trump showed up?
We already have Droid Reed with that.
Yeah.
Well,
but apparently, during the board meeting, during the board meeting, the embattled mayor also admitted to a $2 million deficit. With Dalton is the town, owing more than $427,000 for street paving and another $400,000 in tree services.
Whoa!
Like she's racking up all these bills and not paying for them. This chick's wild, dude.
And they're going bankrupt. Yeah, she's bankrupting businesses just like California did.
Yeah,
under Davis. Take out huge contracts to all these tree bankrupt and then not pay them for months. And when they go go bankrupt.
And she's also like she's facing a lot of backlash. And even people are coming out saying that she should stop blaming others for the backlash. Like it's her fault.
Well, yeah. She's just following orders, so
yeah.
It's all part of the plan.
Oh yeah, there's no plan to fix anything.
What was it?
Oh, that's her OnlyFans profile picture. That's
probably.
Look at those lips. Look at those knob sucking lips.
Yeah. No, this is her career post OnlyFans.
Yeah. And look, dude, she's like Martin Luther King Day. I have a dream. Like this girl's crazy.
Oh, but
they formally invited FBI to investigate.
But that's what politics does. It brings out the worst in people. But if you tell a bunch of people they're entitled, well, you're going to get the worst in people.
Yep.
Yeah.
She'll be the transportation with the next batch of communists.
Dude, for real.
Do the judge's job. Just watch. Or
and every time she's been confronted over it, she's off. Well, you're just attacking me because I'm a black woman.
Yep. Yeah, that's what it does.
Yep.
It's flooding the internet with people who
Did
think
you
they can
ever
do
Her
it.
race as
So,
her advantage
the
is very
entitled to
racist.
compensation?
Just
I didn't hear a
Yeah,
word
it's
of
Captain
either
Bloom.
y'all said.
Yeah. But it's not the only one. I mean, Eric Adams criticized Joe. Boom, he's under investigation for not hiring enough black people. You know, it's like, whoa, when did that happen? But it's not the only time they do it, right? When Trump went to a Chick-fil-A and ordered a milkshake and gave out milkshakes and was shaking hands, and Joe Biden apparently threw his cell phone at the teleprompter and demanded he get his moment too. So his handlers took him to a Shares petrol station. Now they held his hand as they walked him to the front door. They were holding Joe's hand.
But anyway, back to
what we were talking about.
Stuff that we were talking about.
Sorry.
I know. It's okay. She's described herself as the super mayor. That's where the term came from.
Oh, right.
But she's also been dubbed the worst mayor in America by critics, accusing misdeeds ranging from weaponizing police raids to spending taxpayer money on luxury Vegas vacation. So you pay for the police to go on raids for you, taking out people that you don't want to deal with, doing all this other kind of stuff while you're taking trips on taxpayer money. Okay. Most recently, scandal-ridden mayor.
She's just following Joe's lead. I mean, Biden's doing the same
for
thing
real.
Yeah.
Scandal-ridden mayor has also come under fire for alleged SA by one of her allies during the Vegas trip, where the alleged victim claims to have been fired after speaking out.
Oh, that's her downfall. The minute you fire somebody, you can't cover that up, because now it looks like it's true, because they could have hushed her up with all this money, but no, it's oh, you talk bad about me, you're fired. So that makes it very valid.
Yeah, but the problem is the taxpayer. The taxpayer puts up with this. It's the idiots who keep voting for this, saying, "Oh,
doesn't matter when the fucking votes are rigged, David. We already talked about that. What
but
state is this?
Because
it would depend on the state, on the rights and whatnot of firing too.
Yes, I'm just talking about the fact there are people who legitimately vote for these people.
The votes don't matter.
Yeah, it may not matter. But there are people who put up with this shit and actually think it's good. That's the problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are some people that are so brainwashed. I honestly don't necessarily think that it's somebody that thinks, "Oh, this is a good candidate." It's the fact they turn around and say, "Oh, the other person sucks. The other person does this. The other person does that," and it's no, they don't do that. It's just you're led to believe by what you see in the media and all, this, that, and the third. Exactly. It's So majority of Democrats that I run into on day-to-day basis is both more than likely saying, "Oh, dude, we actually hate Biden. We don't like him. We just really hate Trump."
Yeah. And the thing is, and I've encountered this in forum after forum after forum, you have people who say, "I don't, but Republicans all the time. But Republicans do this, Republicans do that." And you ask them, "When's the last time you had a Republican mayor?" "Oh, way back, in the 1920s."
Dude,
it was so
yes.
1920s. And you're blaming somebody today for something that happened back then. I know, Republicans did rule in California. But
yeah, for sure. All right, so that sparked a thought that I had in my head. I was having a conversation with a dude just like that, and the dude was like, "Yeah, but the Republicans, they did this, and this," and I'm like, "Dude, when's the last time a Republican has been in office in our town?" And they were like, and I was like, "Exactly, dude. It's been a hot minute since there's been a Republican-led mayor or anything."
And yet they're complaining about stuff and blaming Republicans. And you're saying, yeah, but they haven't been a hit. You haven't even got a Republicans in some towns and they still blame Republicans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I used to work with a guy that was
governor is
constantly
doing, I'm worried.
griping. And I finally said, this was, when I was still at the library, and I said, hey, Dave, what is it you don't like? Like your 5 legislation things that you don't like. And he told me, and I went and looked them up, and every single one of them were sponsored and started by a Democrat. There was a Ted Kennedy education bill that had a co-signer of, I can't remember that guy. He's been gone for years.
Yeah.
Who was what we would call today a rhino. But every single thing he didn't like what the government was doing, and this has been 25 years ago or more, was a Democrat created bill, passed by a Democrat Congress, and signed by a Democrat president. And I'm like, don't tell me that you're going to blame Republicans for stuff that they have there's plenty of blame to go around. But the things that you hate the most are your party.
Yeah.
The thing is,
see it.
It's the same with the healthcare bill. They took out the stuff that when they created the bipartisan healthcare bill, Ted Kennedy voted against it, and over time it slowly got reduced, and then it finally comes up again, and it just happens to be Obama was president, and he waited 3 years before doing anything with it.
Yeah,
because these bills, they cycle, right? You can't bring back bills straight away. You have to go through a cycle of committees and rewrites. And by the time it came back, it was actually like decades had passed, and this bill had been killed twice before. So this time it was the last time they could bring it up, and then they'd have to wait another entire cycle before they could bring it back. Now, Obama waited till the very end to pass the bill, even though, virtually nobody voted for it. Now, the thing is, all the stuff the Republicans put in was taken out at the last minute, but they blame, Republicans stood in the way of healthcare. No, they wrote the bill. Obama took out all the
that was the one that
would stop escalation of prices.
Yeah, Pelosi was running in the House where they voted on the amendment first. Before they passed
the
did
bill.
A procedural thing that had never been done, no precedent, no belief that it's legal.
Yeah.
We'll pretend that this bill passed. We're going to vote on the amendments first, because that was the fake, because they wanted to make.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
so they took a whole bunch of stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they voted on the thing, and then
all the price controls, all the stuff would say to companies, no, you can't just keep escalating costs. You have to justify them.
Well, and I have heard people bitch and moan about HMOs for decades. And that was the Ted Kennedy creation.
Clinton. Yeah,
Clinton Kennedy created under Carter. That's when it started.
But when it started, but it was renewed under Clinton, and now it has to go for another.
And it's like,
and that's why they don't want Trump back in, because of all these bills that will come up under Trump that will just get pushed back into the cycle, and that's why the Democrats are so upset.
And it's been like I've complaining for quite a while. It's been pretty much a uniparty since the early 20th century. Theodore Roosevelt took over the Republican Party.
Roosevelt, all of them.
And you have Wilson and Franklin. And the 4 people who've tried to buck the system at a presidential level, JFK, RFK, Reagan, and Trump, they shot 3 of them. They killed 2 of them. And they removed one. They removed, and
they successfully removed Nixon, even though
Nixon too. Yeah, Nixon. But
Nixon didn't really buck the system as bad as the others, but he still was a threat, because he was asking questions about the Kennedy assassination they didn't want asked.
Right, and it was too soon. And they even at the time, they get rid of.
They said it was too soon to take drastic action. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they used the Peace Corps to chase him out of office.
Yeah, but Agnew was like him, but worse. So they had to get rid of him first. They gave him Ford, who's an establishment. I mean, he's on the Warren Commission. You don't get much more establishment than covering up the JFK assassination and making it look official.
Yeah, even though it was all full of people who had motive.
Yeah. So
even Ford, wasn't it Ford's wife who had an affair with Kennedy? Allegedly.
But
allegedly.
You had a journalist, what's her name? Dorothy Kilgallen. She found out some stuff.
Now, I found
And
out
then
some
she
stuff recently too. There
mysteriously
was a
died.
declassified document, one of the last that came out under Trump. Did you know Bob Woodward worked for Naval Intelligence under Nixon? And a year later, he was on the Washington Post with a brand new history. Yep. A brand new history.
He was the CIA plant.
Yeah, he never went to university or college where he when he claimed he was actually serving under Dulles in Taiwan on Air America.
Yeah, no, I knew that. That was the
Woodward,
But I think that was part of the Church Commission hearings that they
Woodward
held.
Never won a Pulitzer. That was just written into his bio.
Yeah, well, that's how they get rid of him.
Yeah.
That's how they get rid of it. Yeah. I mean, the whole '60s hippies movement was a CIA.
It was a creation. It was a creation of the CIA to expand Air America in Southeast Asia through funding of the drug trade.
Yeah, it's like the more I learn, the less I want to know. It's like, did anything in my history book real? Yeah, it's like,
well, we're about to repeat it all. I mean, we're heading right to the next depression.
We're in the middle of repeating everything.
Yeah,
I mean, think about it, right? Like everything went to digital shit, and everything digital's failing. Look at all the losses that we're taking. We know for a fact the dollar's not worth shit. They claim they need our taxes, but they can just print money, so you don't need taxes.
And it isn't. It hasn't covered the interest on the debt in almost 20 years.
No, they have to print money to cover the interest.
And now that they're borrowing from China to give more to Ukraine, it's the biggest bunch of bullshit. And it's affecting everybody now.
Oh, yeah.
Because now even the stupid fucks that voted Democrat, even though now they're just communists, it's the Communist Party or American. And if you're voting Democrat, you're a fucking communist. And I hope that you stop breathing.
Yeah. Well,
it's that simple.
2/3 of the time you vote Republican, you're voting for someone who isn't going to either, if there's someone who is serious, they're never going to be on a committee to do anything.
Oh, you get a Mike Pence.
Right. Or Trent Lott, or what's his name? Who's the guy from Utah?
Dan Crenshaw. No, sorry, that's Texas. You're talking about Romney.
Right, yeah. We call them rhinos, but it's like
anybody who's got they call him Ruined Romney because anybody who goes against him seems to get ruined by the deep state.
Yeah. Well, it's like those they can't corrupt. They're never on a committee. They never chair a committee. Like Ron Paul and other. There's a handful. And then what's his name? Joe Lieberman, who left the Democrat Party and was an independent near the end of his career. Well, they just kind of let him drift off, right? It's like, well, Joe's off the reservation, as it were. He's left the plantation, and he made a lot of sense. Yeah, but he didn't have any power, so he's just allowed to say whatever because they know it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, but I don't like Lieberman personally for what he did in his early career, and never he invented the Karen, and he never apologized for it. Although later, after he left the Senate, he was actually stated he really regrets going after all these people, but it was what the party said, get attention any way possible.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
he'd go after people because it would bring him media attention, and the party would urge him on.
It is interesting watching it fall. We'll see what happens. But anyway, but I don't know. It has nothing to do with entertainment, but
what it does have is Fall of Rome trending almost every day.
There's did you guys see the latest rumor about Lucasfilm that George might be coming back?
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll work. I don't know if that'll happen.
George Lucas is in talks with Bob Iger to return to helm the next Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah, I just don't see it, man. So,
sorry, Ryan. Maybe next time.
Well, in my view, before all the sales, the original trilogy is what happens when you have George Lucas with a good creative team that can say no to him.
Okay? Yeah, actually, but when they
maybe
said
really
no
the
him,
first two
he walked out of the second movie. Don't forget,
the third one kind of
wasn't even written by him. That was Kasdan.
The prequel trilogy is what happens when George Lucas doesn't have a creative team who can say no.
No, it's Lucas and his team were excluded from that.
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't
And
just
so,
Lucas.
well,
it
no,
was
no,
all
the
these people
prequels
too.
before all the Disney stuff. Because it's
Yeah,
like,
before the
if
Lucas
you
stuff too,
watch American Graffiti and Willow and the prequel trilogy, you can see the same boring trend. Star Wars, Empire, and to a lesser extent, Jedi are like an aberration because Marcia and others could say no to him and edit the crap out of his work. And when you look at the extra special, I put everything back in editions of Star Wars, you're like, holy crap. That no wonder Marcia took all this shit out.
No, yeah, the Diz music, half an hour of Diz music.
It's like American Graffiti with laser swords, because American Graffiti is a decent film, but it is long and boring. I will admit.
Nobody would
Harrison
admit it
Ford
because it was
told him,
film
you can
school.
write this shit, but you can't write this shit. You know, like he's got great ideas, but it just,
No, he's good at Lucas doesn't have great ideas. He's great at recognizing great ideas like Hidden Fortress from Kurosawa.
Well, I mean, he borrows and he updates. He took some stuff from Flash Gordon and different concepts, but I think it's a lot of noise in his
American
head.
Graffiti came straight out of his film school textbook on coming of age.
Right. But it feels to me like he has all this noise in his head.
Yes.
He can't relay what he wants. So, I mean, various interviews I've seen of Carrie Fisher and not Mark Hamill from back in the day, it's like he just said, do it again faster with more intensity. I don't think he could articulate what he wanted, but he had some people around him who could get an idea of what he was trying to accomplish, because they had the same influences. They understood what his influences were, so they edited a lot of stuff out of his film that is unnecessary. If you've ever read the novelization of Star Wars, that follows the original script. Well, the movie doesn't start till like chapter 5. I mean, that's how much stuff is gone.
Well, it was actually originally it was just called Star Wars, and it was going to be a once-off movie.
Yeah.
But then Marcia presented the idea to Fox that they could make this into a series because they've got like 9 hours of unused footage, and she reckoned she can get another 2 movies out of this unused footage if she was given another budget. But they didn't go with that. They said no, but we'll go with the idea. We'll re-release it as an episodic movie, and we'll see from there what the
well, there was a re-release
experts
of Star Wars, a year after Empire, 6 months when it came out as episode 4.
It was re-released, 6 months later, 6 months after the first release.
But and by Jedi, he and Marcia, I don't know if they were divorced in the middle of it. I mean, there was
there's different stories. Brian took over from Empire because George had walked out halfway through.
American Graffiti is not boring.
Yeah, but the thing is, there was no competition back then.
It was slowly
came out. Okay, it had no competition.
By more modern standards, it is a slower paced movie.
Yeah.
Now, I like the movie. I've seen it, I don't know, probably a dozen times. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I've seen the full version, the edited for television version.
Yeah, it's like the Apocalypse Now. If you've seen the edited version, you know the basic story.
Yeah.
But if you saw the extended version first, you'll go, "Wow, this has got long, boring scenes."
In all fairness, I liked Willow. I've never seen Howard the Duck, which I think is technically a Ron Howard movie, though, right? He wasn't Luke's producer.
John, those one produced, one directed. I can't remember which.
I liked, but I went with someone who was a Star Wars fan. That's why Lucas was involved, and she didn't like it, but I did like it, and I was kind of hoping it would go somewhere, but it never did.
Now the thing is, I think Willow failed because after the movie there was just too much drama.
Yeah.
Past arguments, etc. Can't get people to do interviews. People didn't want to promote the movie because people had a lot of ill feeling towards George after that movie was finished. I don't know what he did.
So that was.
I don't know what he did, but he really cheesed off a lot of people. That was beginning at the end of George's run as a well-loved director, and until he teamed up with Spielberg to do Indiana Jones.
Well, that was it was in the middle of the indie, because I think the third movie came out. Oh, there was a guy. Speaking of Indiana Jones, there was a guy who was in Raiders who was in that movie. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah. But there was a bunch of stuff always going on around George. You had, George giving interviews saying that, the Jedi, they're compassionate and generous. Yet you don't see any of that in the original movie, do you? You don't really see anything about it. Yeah. And you see George and his writing team sitting around in this big groundbreaking for a day. Yeah, that's what I mean. It was Brett. But the thing is, that movie actually just came straight out of the scriptwriter's book on how to write a coming-of-age story. He just wrote it all down from all the other coming-of-age stories. That's all he did, was use the examples from his film school days at Berkeley.
So was Joanne Whaley, is she really a redhead, or was that all fake?
But wasn't American Graffiti based on the song American Pie to some extent?
No.
I don't
know.
No. Okay.
American Graffiti was about like hot rodding and
that's more the Richie Valens story.
Richie Valens, okay.
And what was the one they came out with? La Bamba was one of.
Yeah.
It was Richie Valens and the Big. There were three of them.
The Big Bopper, yeah. That was that was a canister that blew in. It was an aerosol canister. They were aerosoling while flying high at low pressure, and the can exploded in the cabin.
Well, that's
that
right.
Was a sad.
They
that
did
was
make
a
Willow. Now, I haven't seen the Willow TV series, so I bet you it's horrible.
It's you'll only find it on Jolly Roger sites. It's been scrubbed.
Oh, it was that good, huh?
Yeah, it was that good.
But there were concepts in there that I really liked. In particular, Warwick Davis's character.
Warwick Davis gave a huge performance around, but he was surrounded by a cast of people who didn't care.
Well, I still don't think Lucas can save Star Wars to bring it back to where we started from, and
there's no going back. You'd have to.
Yeah, exactly. It is kind of ironic though that the guy that sold it, they got to go bring him back, who wanted absolutely nothing to do with it because he said it would take too long to do it the right way. The same guy that said these fucking movies aren't even his shit. He flat out said it before these were made with Ray and all of that. So like none of it mattered anyway, and everything past that hasn't mattered because it's all shit. None of that was the original vision. George Lucas said that over a decade ago.
Well, was it the 60 Minutes interview where he said he sold his child to the white slavers?
Yep.
Talking about Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah. And so it's like, I don't know. You can come, but I don't know what the little she grows means. But
I mean, there's nothing that's bringing it back, and there's nothing that's going to be what it was. It's done.
Yeah, I would say, to Lisco's comment there. I would say Saying Elsewhere pushed the hospital drama in the direction ER went. I think Saying Elsewhere kind of paved that early portion, but ER did it much better. They definitely took that baton up and went pretty well with it.
But it also Saying Elsewhere also has one of the most moaned about endings of all TV shows.
That ending grew on me over time. When I first did it, I think it was a bit jarring.
It's never been done before. That's the problem when something's new.
Yeah. Well, because that kind of spawned, because you had Dallas and the Dream season with Bobby, and that's kind of what spawned these weird endings. And I think Newhart did it best, where they basically spoofed Dallas completely, and he wakes up in his old TV show.
Yeah.
But St. Elsewhere was an interesting. It was an interesting twist, and it's one of those things that over time I came to like it maybe a decade later more than I did so when it happened. And ER I stopped watching long before. I don't even know if is it still on. Is it? Still...
I think I dropped out of ER in season 3.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like NCIS. You know, I watched it for a while, and then some of these shows are still on.
Repetitive, didn't it?
Well,
like,
and CSI and all these. Some of these shows are still on, and some of them. Oh, well, Grey's Anatomy, isn't that still going? I think
20 episodes.
2 or 3. I stopped watching Grey's Anatomy.
Now it's the same as Law and Order. They got to the point where they said, right, we either repeat scripts or we end. So they tried to end the show, but the problem is they just kept bringing back. What we'll do is just change cast. We'll change cast. That's what we'll do.
They
wanted to end it.
The daytime soap operas, some of them go back to radio drama days. Is it a General Hospital or there's one of them that started as a radio drama, went to TV, and it's still, it's been on 80 years or something. I forget which one. Days of Our Life. I don't know. I don't watch any of them, but
if you go back and look at the first season of ER, you'll see Clooney reading off Mark Green's clipboard.
Yeah. I think the first couple seasons, it really launched. Yeah, the Return of the Killer Tomatoes didn't really launch Clooney's career like he thought, but ER sure did.
Yeah, but Clooney got his role in ER because of Killer Tomatoes, and he got Killer Tomatoes because his parents paid for the film.
Oh, I believe that. That movie's the original is a cult classic. The sequel is what the heck are they doing? I think that one gets self-aware when they're running out of money and they start saying things and say, "Hey, you can't," and they do the product placement gag right in the middle of the spoilers. Sorry, spoilers.
Yeah.
Now, didn't we do a watch party for the first one?
Long ago.
Which one?
The Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Killer Tomatoes. We did a watch party a long time ago for that one.
That was on this channel, right? That wasn't on.
I don't think I was on. No, it wasn't me.
Was that
long? It was very early in the Fancast. Yeah.
Okay, because that was a good one. I had forgotten quite a bit of that movie. I hadn't seen it in decades.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
We also had clips of Clooney, but we did one with clips of Clooney because we couldn't show the whole movie because YouTube had taken it down. But we had clips.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever did Attack, but the Return.
Return we had clips because YouTube had taken the movie.
Yeah,
it got recopyrighted or something.
Yeah, but but yeah, the first one is a low budget classic. Although every scene with the meeting room, the boardroom makes me giggle because the table's bigger. That's hilarious. But
it's scary because in 2024 it's the Bill Gates tomatoes you got to worry about.
Yeah. That actually might become a documentary.
Yeah.
Like Idiocracy.
Exactly. Yeah, just like Idiocracy. It was a comedy when they made it and we watched it. Now it's a fucking documentary. Quit putting Gatorade in the. Yeah.
Brawn.
Needs water.
It has what plants need. It has electrolytes. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, what's the other one?
Huh?
The College Riots.
Yeah,
there you go.
College Riots.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah. No, I'm talking about Idiocracy. The College Riots.
Yeah. Brought to you by Soros.
Netanyahu needs to shut his fucking mouth.
Why?
He's like, Biden, you gotta stop these protests. You gotta stop these student protests. Biden, do your job. Fuck you, Netanyahu. You have enough problems as is.
Well, he's creating his own problem.
If I was president, I would tell Netanyahu, look, no more funding for you. Fuck off. and good luck on your own. We're
Here's the
pulling
problem.
everything out.
Here's the problem. Obama, remember all the so-called 2016 election interference? What happens when Netanyahu is running for office? Obama flies to Israel to campaign against him, which actually backfired and got even more votes. Biden and Lula got together to try and oust him. That didn't work. China, then it came out that China was buying military equipment from Israel by a company in India. And when Israel found out, they cut off the supply. And then, of course, China started sending equipment to Hamas. And 6 months later, you have the October 7th attack.
Tony.
Tony.
Monotony.
Well,
but I mean,
I gotta take.
But see, the thing of it is, though, is that these protests, you know who they're funded by, right?
Yeah, they're funded by Act Blue.
Well, they're funded by the Chinese government
through Act Blue and George Soros Foundation, Open Society Foundation. Yeah,
I think that's crazy. I mean, I guess it's
But did you see the tent city? They all went up and they're all identical tents, like 200 identical tents.
Because college kids can go out and buy tents.
As in, they can't pay their student loan, so they could go out and buy. They could go to Dick's Sporting Goods and buy a premium camping tent.
$200 tent.
Yeah, exactly. $200 tent. You can go out and buy one, but you can't pay your bills.
But the thing is, they're all identical. Like you go to a sporting goods store and you won't even see. Most of them carry a tent. Somebody went out and bought a whole bunch of these tents and then put up a marquee in a buffet.
Oh, bro, you've never seen a Walmart in the States. I'm just saying.
No. I'm just saying, right, that somebody went out and had a whole bunch of people set up a marquee, set up all these tents, and then the students just all filed in, and they already had all their assigned rooms and everything. No, that's spontaneous, right? That's spontaneous.
No, it's all staged. I mean, that's the thing. That's why I was saying you haven't seen a Walmart. They could, with all the stuff that they can stuff in a Walmart, that would be the plan. Okay, now we're going to do it here. It's just like how the bricks magically appeared, during the BLM protests, riots and stuff. But
all the
try going to the stores and find the bricks to buy for actually laying.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute.
Bricks on the side of the road. I remember all the shields, trucks rolling up with shields on the back.
It's all a work. That's the thing. It's how you can tell. Like you said, they're not gonna all go buy the same $200 tent and it all be that they're college kids. Shit's gonna be all over the fucking place because they're retarded.
Yeah, but you'll have premium. You'll have those with premium tents. You'll have those with group tents. You'll have those.
It's not going to be the exact same thing, like you were saying.
No,
exactly. It's gonna. Everybody's going to have a different tent because everybody's going to have a different style. It sure as hell ain't going to be uniform.
But when that criticism hit, when Fox showed the original area with all the same tents, do you know what happened? And an hour later, they took them all down and went to Dick's Sporting Goods and actually bought real tents and replaced them. And then said, it's a conspiracy theory by Fox, But the marquee was still there in the middle. They still had the rows of notice boards with where everybody is to stay with the plot numbers. It's like they just changed the tents. Like that again. That wouldn't be college students. College students would just throw paint on them or not care, right? But Did you see the interview with one of the girls leading the march and asked, "What are you protesting?" She said, "I don't know. I'm just here for the. And they cut it off.
Yeah.
And late we saw some. I was on Twitter the other day. I don't know if late remembers. I'm sure he sees a bunch of stuff, but there was somebody posted about snipers on the roof. I don't know if you guys saw any of that. Yeah. Somebody posted about it, and Lape even commented and was like, "Yeah, you don't see a real sniper. You don't see."
No.
No.
The New York police. They got The only time they show the New York police snipers is when they're about to do something that can call stunning and brave and get some headlines for, take out a guy holding a woman hostage, or they want to show that there's a show of force. But yeah.
Yeah, but they can't do that anymore because it's always racist and bigotry, and so it's all done in the secrets.
Well, yeah,
in the dock. Now it's the FedEx guy that gets you.
Yeah, but the thing is, of all the people to tell the truth, it was Justin Trudeau who came out the other day and said and described his kids as useful props.
Yeah, because he's gay.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, we all know he's gay.
Always has been,
Exactly.
His wife. Even his wife admits that they were set up in a boardroom meeting, in a party room meeting. The party said, "Hey, we've got this woman. We got this woman we want you to marry," and she was like, "Well, didn't know they were talking about her." So they got her to expound all these wonderful ideas of how a marriage would make his career and how it would enhance the wife's career. And she basically didn't realize, as the only woman in the room, they were all talking about her.
That's literally a trophy wife.
Yeah. Well, she's not much of a catch, but I mean, she is better than the say what's wandering around the halls of DC. So, there is that. But I mean, he's not interested in her, so it doesn't matter what she looks like.
Yeah, that's why I said trophy wife, literally.
Yeah.
She's there just to show off, and then, he goes and whatever.
Yeah, while he's off in,
the rest of them.
Yeah. While he's off with his ski bunny friends in the back shed, she's off with some rich doctor in Alberta.
Yep.
Who paints her nails apparently, and she finds that sensitive.
By nails, he means gash.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's probably what she meant. She said nails. I think, gash. You're right.
Oh yeah, makes sense. I mean, look, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Again, remember, propaganda is legal. There's nothing we can say that can be held against us because propaganda is legal.
Only when they do it.
Nope, that's not the way it works.
Yeah, you can't lie to Congress, but they can lie to you. Again, some of the stuff we hear about is still nothing compared to the corruption of the 1920s or what's going on in China or many other countries in the world, which is why people shrug their shoulders to say, what are you going to do about it? And that's exactly what they said in the 1920s. Then we had the 1930s. and then they really wished they'd done something about it.
29 to 39, and we're still feeling the effects from the original depression.
Yeah.
And again, we're paying because oil went negative and they printed up all this money, and now the clowns in office are borrowing money to do more laundering, which I'm sorry, if you don't have money, they don't just lend you more.
Yeah.
They don't lend you money unless they're making a profit.
Yeah,
So,
then the treasurer, unfortunately, he or she goes up and their face is all red. It's like, here.
The thing is, the people you elect don't even write the bills. They don't even write the bills. Okay, it's a joke.
Well, John Conyers like a decade ago, he's like, read the bill. Well, how are we supposed to read it? There's nothing in it.
Yeah, Carlin was saying about balancing the budget. And what is that? 40 years ago now. And it doesn't matter which.
Yeah.
Well, we were fine before Clinton got in because we had a surplus before Clinton came and set everything up to where we are now with then Obama and bombing everything else.
The problem is Clinton was clever. He worked with Greenwich and kept the balanced budget. But then in the end, he put through all these things that were going to be paid down the road, which never got paid for by anything.
And a lot of businesses for normal folk like us went out of business because of it. I've already lived through this shit 3 times. All we're doing is repeating history, and it's going even faster and crazier this time around.
Well, yeah. Well, I saw the other day how many job closures and job losses there were. Yet you look at the so-called job growth and you say, wait a minute, all these jobs are being created, yet none of the job growth what do you call it? The official white papers have any of these job losses listed. And it's like,
or
what?
New job, like they say there's all these new jobs, but why is it everybody's still out of work and nobody can find work?
Yeah, it's like, really?
AI
Where
jobs,
did you get this white paper from? The Chinese propaganda ministry? Because none of these figures are true.
Actually, because of the AI going on in California, watch the job loss. Watch the job loss. It's gonna
they're saying
disastrous.
Well, it already was though, because they crashed with the everybody went there 20 years ago and it crashed, and then 10 years ago it crashed again, and then here we go again. You know, it's like every time it's like we went from cassette tape to CD. David, just hold on for a minute, all right? You interrupt everybody. Shut the fuck up for a minute. We went from cassettes to CDs, and then you go to Blu-rays and DVDs to everything's digital. You know, you lose something every time that happens, and every time this history keeps repeating itself, we're losing more and more and more. And now we have access to all this information, and nobody can be bothered to look up this shit to make anything change at all. And we just keep repeating and repeating and repeating. But again, we're headed right for the wall in another depression, because our dollar, the United States of America dollar, is now completely worthless. Even though they keep coming for it, it's still, you know, right now you can take that dollar and buy something with it. What's going to happen when you can't? And that's where worldwide everybody's going, especially with them pushing, trying to do the digital. You know, let's get rid of money completely and go complete digital. And that's where we're right at right now. As we're all talking about all this other shit, that's where we're at. They are trying to push the digital currency, and in other countries they have, and it's coming here next.
Oh yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, you know, they want to do a certain thing, and it's majority of us is just like, oh yeah, you know what? Please take our freedoms. We don't need this crap. Like, just take us. Govern me harder, Daddy.
Yep.
Yeah, govern me harder, Daddy. Now, I'll try to keep it short. Now, 40 years ago, there was stuff that people wouldn't put up with. But what do? Instead of passing a law against the stuff they don't like, they say, oh, it's your right. And what happens? The left just break it down into little steps. Every time they lose, they break their loss down into little steps, and then they pass those little steps. So it doesn't matter what you do if you don't do anything about it. And what we have, of course, is the fact that every generation seems to want to reinvent the wheel. And yet you go back 40 years, and it's not just the cassette tape to DVD. It's the fact that less books, they rewrite every time there's a new generation, they rewrite the history books. And they keep shortening them to fit in more, right? So they're always same thin books, but each chapter gets thinner and thinner. So people don't even know history's repeating anymore.
Well, it's all digital, like I was saying. They've everything's changed. That's why I went from music to DVDs to entertainment. Like, the entertainment, everything now. Look at what they've done. Where if they don't like what you say, first they shut us off YouTube. Then they block us on Twitter and Facebook and everything else, right? Because we didn't go with the narrative. We told them what was what, because we had a question. Not that we knew, like, hey, we're just questioning this, and we got shut down, many of us, to the point that then they turned around and said that we should be rounded up and forced to take this vaccine, and fuck your liberties, take the vaccines and all that shit, to only find out that shit was poisonous.
Yeah, and have a whistleblower come out and say, "Oh yeah, the CIA planned this all along." Health Alliance
came out and already said it as well, and there was another country, I forget which one. But I mean, at the end of the day, we all already knew this shit. And look at all of you that were attacking all of us that had a brain, you know. And then now here we are, where our border has been left open. Not that it hasn't happened in prior years. Even under Trump, we still had illegals coming in.
But nowhere near as much as today.
No, by no means. Like I said, that's why I always use you can wrap it up as easy as, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Because we were told that Trump was going to put us in war and end the world and all this other shit, and yet we were thriving. And the morons that said that Trump was going to destroy the world literally have.
Yeah.
So we need to fix that.
Earlier today, me and my wife were talking about. We were watching Three Ninjas High Noon at Mega Mountain. You guys seen it with Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
Okay, we were watching it today, and there was a scene where the mom just drops the 3 kids off and was like, "All right, we'll see you here at 5. You know, just drop them off at an amusement park, whatever." And I looked at Brandy and was like, "Yep, that wouldn't happen today."
No.
And she was like, "Yeah, there's so many sickos now." And I'm like, "Dude," I was like, "Well, actually, no. There were just as many sickos back then, but there wasn't social media to feed that fear." So the digital space that we use is also ruining our perception of the general population.
And Tesla predicted that. He actually said, if anybody invents a mass media, you should shut it down. A single mass media. Because it allows,
it's good to get information, but daggone, like, how much information do you have to get? How much negativity can there be with it where you're just like, oh, well, now I'm afraid to do everything?
Yeah, but the problem is it's one, you've got paralysis by choice because you've got too much information. 2, you've got no way to tell which is true or not because you try to look stuff up and you'll get the answers they want. And 3, idiotic ideas are defended by ignorant people.
Yeah.
And they defend idiotic ideas ignorantly. So they enforce the ignorance of society in that maybe at one point they were right. There was no such thing as chemtrails. But now we know that there are companies who are contracted and have been for 20 years that have made either through ignorance or deliberate malice or instead of seeding clouds for making rain, they just sprayed whatever garbage they laid their hands out of in the back of a plane and collected the paycheck at the end of the day and said, "I'm sorry, it only said there's only a small chance of rain from this cloud seeding. You knew that going in." And they've been ripping off the government. A lot of cloud seeding companies have been ripping off the government, not even pumping out cloud seeding. Sometimes it's been sold. So...
Well, it's been all kinds of shit, though. That's the problem. That's how they've been poisoning the water and poisoning the land and making the frogs gay.
Yeah, actually, the frogs gay is because of the runoff from birth control pills.
And, well, that's what's wrong with the male population, though. That's why they've got 30% less testosterone than...
Yeah, because you're literally drinking estrogen.
Well, I've never had city water, though. There's more of us in the counties than there are in the cities.
Yeah.
That don't have that kind of shit, though. You know, that was the beautiful thing. But they keep trying to take away all the land. They keep trying to make everybody be like they were trying to annex us here. And it's like, no, man, we're in the county for a reason. I don't want your chemical water. I don't want your bullshit. You know, I know I had the water tested here. We know what's what. And I have well water. Seth has well water.
Yep.
You know.
Well water's the best, man. I love the taste.
Yep.
Well, also in 2019 we went to Vegas to visit my aunt and uncle at the time. We were driving back and it was really late, so my sister told me, she's like, "Hey, can we please stay at a motel?" And so we did. The next morning on our way back to her house, I look up and there was this huge, like you know how missiles leave streaks and everything. This one was massive, about that wide, and I'm like, something was launched. It was like it went from like one end past the horizon of the mountains. It was massive, and I'm like,
Nevada.
The fuck are they flying out here?
Right. Well, it's
And
not like
this
they
was
can
in
tell
Nevada.
us anyway.
This was in
It's
Kingman,
Nevada,
by the
biggest
way.
bomber base in the world. It's right is behind those mountains. Biggest bomber base. Over 100 B-52s on the runway. There's a guy who actually legally flies over Area 51 using an old flight route back from the before Area 51 was open. He flies regularly to us over there too. Then you can see the base. You just all the bombers are under hangars or underground, but you can fly when there's no aircraft flying. You know, there's a old regulation which they'll eventually get rid of, but yeah, those big stratosphere planes, that's ice crystals forming on the wings, and they defrost, so it leaves steam trailing behind.
I wish I took a photo of this thing.
Yeah,
this
it's a super
huge.
stratofortress B-52.
But that trail that comes off is not. I mean, that would dissipate quickly, right?
If it's steam, yeah, but it's mixed with glycol. They spray the wings with glycol, and they keep pumping glycol onto the wings to stop ice formations, and they boil it to keep the ice from forming, and that's why you get chemtrails.
Yay!
But in the 80s, Seth, in Santa Barbara, you didn't have to lock Santa Barbara, California. You didn't have to lock your doors at night. You know, back to your, the world of today, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. Like growing up when in the areas that I grew up in, like we didn't lock the doors at night.
Yeah.
But
the people of 9021 era didn't have kids.
Well, we had kids. We had the neighborhood, man. But like my whole point is we stood together as a neighborhood. Like there wasn't like theft within the neighborhood.
No, I'm talking about the generation after. That's after the 90s, the population started declining. It's been hidden by mass migration.
It hasn't been hidden at all. They flat out fucking told people not to reproduce because we were overpopulated. That's what happened. They fell for the lie. And then, of course, as you said, to your point, which you are correct, and then the mass, immigration that's been going on for decades. I mean, you want to know why Americans on disability shit's getting cut? Because of all the fucking illegals that are getting the stuff that we're supposed to be getting.
And more of it. Yeah,
they
get all the benefits.
Yeah. The ACP, I think it was called, which is what helps out pay my internet through the government, right? Because remember fucking Obama with the free internet? Well, there's no such thing as free, okay? So they would pay $30 of my internet. So that made my internet bill $40, which is affordable for me, okay? But because it's still tied up in Congress, now I don't get that. So I don't get that extra $30. So that means now I got to figure out where to spend the extra $30. Okay, so that's $30 less in food, $30 less in, what I'm saying? So you have to budget, right? Which was what David, that's what we do. That's what we do. But it's the fact that how the fuck is this something that's even being discussed with Congress right now? This should be no problem. If you can give all this shit that you're giving to illegals illegally in the America, period, man, it's not just my state. All of you motherfuckers are doing. So as an American that used to get something, now I don't get it, but illegals do. And yet y'all think that the government's for you. And it sucks because if everybody wouldn't pay taxes this year, that would be a step in the right direction.
Now, the thing is, going back to college riots, a lot of these college kids actually think it's just you right-wing Republicans aren't paying enough taxes, and all we have to do is increase the taxes. Well, unfortunately, if you go back, and it doesn't matter which party is in, you go back to when taxes were 20% of your income. Yes, they had progressive tax system. The top tax rate was 90%, but nobody paid it. The average revenue was 20% of GDP. Back in those days, before FDR got into power, America was at its most productive, highest rate. Now, why did the economy collapse? Because the banks withdrew all the stopped giving out loans to new businesses, and everybody was gambling away their fortune on the stock market, and they just shut their doors.
Well, remember, we shouldn't even be paying taxes. It was supposed to be a temporary thing to pay back World War I.
Yeah, but when it came to the fact that the government had 4 years of excessive surpluses, people went on a massive spending spree on every program they could think of. And sometimes you had like this musician in New York was actually given $1 million just because she played the violin better than anybody else in the eyes of the government. You had that much waste, and yet people don't know this because, they don't care. They don't actually look at the Great Depression and read the novelization that said, it was one big scam. The banks just closed their doors one day because they didn't want to return the money to the public. They wanted to keep it for themselves. So they invented the stock market crash. And the U.S.
we just shouldn't be paying taxes, any of us, because if they can print money, why? And this is every country. And again, we see other countries that are. Italy, I think, was fighting some of this shit. Some, they were burning shit in the street. We covered it on Vinny's show earlier. But I mean, like, what is it going to take in America to get off your fat fucking asses and finally be like, look, we're tired of this shit?
I'm tired
because the people that are in control are completely fucking everything up for all of us, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. It doesn't matter. Like, none of this makes any sense. How does hurting us and letting more people come here, if you can't take care of the Americans that are here, we don't need more people from other countries that don't care about our laws and want debt to America. The same people that did this shit with the two towers, man, flew planes into them. You just opened the border and let them in. How many terrorists they already caught, David? So supposedly,
they already caught. They claim, but the FBI caught. Really? You keep telling us how you need more money to catch more of them. So no, you didn't catch them.
And the one on Twitter that was saying, "Oh, you'll know my name. You'll know my name." You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. Like, there is no sense at all where this makes any kind of sense.
But the thing is, they keep telling you, right? They need these people to do the jobs that Americans won't do. Yet you ask people looking for a job and they tell you, do you know about this job? No, I went for that. And they said, DEI. It's a DEI job. They won't hire anybody until they get the right quota.
Yep.
So
that's breaking a lot of laws. This whole DEI bullshit, it's breaking every civil liberty. It's breaking every civil liberty under the sun, and no one's lifting a finger about it.
So it's destroying America
because it's you don't understand. It's benefiting the majority. It benefits women. All this affirmative action. It benefits women. It benefits blacks. It benefits Latinos. But the majority of Latinos are actually waking up and saying, "No, it's not it's not benefiting us because once the whites are out of money, we're next."
Speaking of which, to go back to your thing, Adam. You and I could probably sit out back like on the porch and everything with like the shotguns and everything. We could just sit there with our weapons out and no one would give a shit. Back in the day, we would just sit there, drink a beer and have fun and no one would care. Nowadays, if we do that now, oh my God, there's people with guns are going to do something. We'd be arrested on the spot.
Because of
because of how paranoid America is.
Yeah.
Well, see, though, you're in that. Hold on, you're in that blue area, though. See, I'm not. I'm in a very red area. So, like,
where Adam is he can walk around with a shotgun, and the guy next door with a shotgun will wave to him.
I mean, and it's not even shotguns. Like, we all carry our pistolas. So, I mean, it's I'm in Little Mexico. So, I mean, but I mean, literally, the areas, like, there are pockets of blue, but the northern half of Michiana, dude, in the northern half of Indiana and the southern half of Michigan, which makes up the Michiana area, is very, very old school republic. We believe in God, they've got their churches and shit, but that's where we're still at. We're still the old America, not this new fucking weird. You can,
America with
the kids and no.
America.
I live in an open constitutional carry state. You go to the liquor store, you see people with guns.
You're the last
They're not brandishing
of
them.
real America.
That's a good way to get shot.
Laws.
Yeah, where I live, it's always assume unless you know otherwise, everyone's armed. Period.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, when you say a constitutional carry, what does that mean?
You do not need a permit.
No,
No permit, permitless, open carry.
Yep.
But you do have you have to have a permit for concealed carry.
To conceal, correct.
Yeah, that's what they call the
state.
advanced. Yeah, the advanced one. Well, let me rephrase that. In Tennessee, if you want to conceal carry in another state, yes.
Yeah, there are places where you can conceal carry as long as it's within your locality. If you're from that area, you can conceal.
That's the part I need to look up because I meant to take my class a year ago and I
haven't taken it.
Yeah.
I know it's always changing too.
Well, and I know open carry is, I don't know how much of it is just where I live and how much of it's Tennessee, because it's basically assume, especially anyone in a pickup truck, assume there's at least a pistol and a rifle you cannot see.
Well, I know a lot of people here. It's like a lot of people here you can open carry here, but I mean you have to have a permit for concealed carry.
Well,
I think it's open.
If shit hits the fan here in Arizona, I know where I'm going.
I think it's 2 levels. Because they have what they call the regular. There's the concealed carry permit, which you do take on. It's a almost like you pay your money, you get it. But what do they call it? The enhanced concealed carry is the one you have to take the class, and that is the one that then there is reciprocity with certain states.
Gotcha.
And then California is not one of them. Neither is Washington. Illinois is not one of them.
But here's the thing.
It's so stupid.
There's only like 6 states that don't honor most of these.
Minnesota's one.
But how many people in the world are going to say, "Oh man, I don't want to break the law. Let me just not carry this here and let my family be in risk."
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably too many, but
let me just tell you, I'm a felon if that's the case.
Yeah,
I always carry. I don't not in a federal building, but anytime that's just a suggestion.
Yeah, dude, I will never be without.
Nope.
Yeah, I think here, like when I went to the DMV, it's in the courthouse, and what they have you do before you hit the metal detector is you have to have your concealed carry permit. Well, whatever you're doing. If you're open carry, you just leave it in the car, right? It's just never mind.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're going into, once you get past that, there's police everywhere. So if something goes down, you're probably not going to be shooting anyways. But
yeah,
you basically you check your gun at the door, as it were, right? You have your because it says concealed carry. I forget how the sign is worded because I haven't been in there since we moved in. But this is where I got my license plate, not the DMV. Sorry, but it was, it said something like check weapons, have concealed carry permit. I don't know. You just basically you give it to them, and then you pick it up as you leave. But now granted, I do live in one of the remotest counties in Tennessee, so I don't know how much that. Although
every state's different too. That's the thing. You got to always check.
Well, and that is too, and that does change. And I think in California, quite often, because I know Hickok 45 went to California a few years ago, and he's from Central Tennessee. It's a YouTube channel. But what he had to do was he couldn't carry on his person, and California has a 2-step rule. So he had to have his pistol. I think the pistol could be on person, but the ammo couldn't. And even California has an open, unloaded carry. You don't have that permitless. You can actually, and you have to have that and as most people use 9mm for this, but basically it has to be rotated so that it can easily be seen that it's not loaded with a magazine. So you have you got the magazine on one side of your hip and the pistol on the other, open carry. So,
And they might see that there's no mag in it, but there's always one in the pipe.
Always one in the pipe. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that some states differentiate between loaded and fully loaded for that very reason.
Because I mean, I can at least have one in the pipe and go, and then slap the mag in.
That would be considered in some states fully loaded, even if it's just one. But if you had a magazine but nothing in the chamber, that's in some states that's not considered loaded.
That's so stupid. I know. If you carry and not want unless you have a specific reason, if you carry without one in the pipe, you are like driving a car and saying you'll put your seatbelt on before the wreck.
Right. Oh, I know, I get that, but I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I just think it's stupid.
Now, when I walk around here, I don't tend to have one because I tend to switch between hollow points and full metal jacket too much. Because if I'm walking the mountain and I'm carrying something, it's not for people, it's for critters. And so I need penetration, so I need full metal jacket. But if I'm carrying in town, I want the hollow points.
Now, you do know that you could get more trouble for having hollow points, right?
Depends on the state. I know New Jersey, they're not allowed.
Well, no. It's some judges will claim that it's premeditated.
Yeah,
because you're wanting to inflict more damage.
It is, but it is defensive ammo and it's lower grain. It's only 80. It's not 110. It's not 120. I mean, I think mine will do 120. What is the P&P plus? Is it 130?
I don't know.
I don't know, but mine will go that high. But I don't. If I'm not shooting targets, I don't need that high of grain. That's just silly. That's just wasting money at my far as I'm concerned.
Well, I used to use because they were like $14 a box, man. So you could literally buy full metal jackets, 50 rounds for $14, and then it was the tops. It was like 128 grain or 135 or 33. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Because the reason I did it was the same shit I shot at the range was what if I had to pull and shoot your ass. You know, it's
there is that. You get used to the gun, how it moves with that. Because most of my full metal jacket stuff's like 110, 115. And a lot of it depends on I forget what the stuff I just bought. Allegedly bought a couple hundred rounds. Not
mine's in the bottom of a lake in an accident.
Yeah, all mine sunk in Seth's boating accident.
Yeah. Hey, Anime Night dropped a link for a celebrity chef that slams California $50 minimum wage proposal.
Well, I thought they just went to 20. Well, it wasn't. I remember it was only a few years ago when it was 15. And then as soon as 15 was talked about being passed, they started 20. And then yesterday, it's like, what? Gavin Newsom's on a tour talking about $50 minimum wage?
That's
ridiculous. They already had Foxtrot Cafe and many others close because their wage bill, they just can't meet their wage bill.
Well, this is how you put businesses out of business without looking like you're out of business.
Yeah.
Is this got audio? Or is this?
No, it's just a picture.
Yeah, it's
so
just
who's
one
the
of those,
celebrity chef? I don't know who that is.
He's probably a celebrity chef in LA or something.
Oh, you click on the
$50 an hour is almost $100,000 a year.
Yeah. Now the thing is, they're justifying this by saying, well, to have the same lifestyle as your parents did, you need to earn $126,000 a year. And actually, $50 an hour is actually less than the inflationary rise. And you're going, wait, you're saying it's less than the inflationary rise, Gavin? So what is the real inflation?
Yeah.
About 30%.
So they accidentally tell the truth sometimes, don't they?
Quite often they tell the truth of what they don't say.
But the problem is, and I forget who it was, came out and said, you do realize that most of these jobs have been replaced by AI because they're $20 an hour, and the AI and they can write AI off their taxes and the infrastructure off their taxes for California has what? 2 McDonald's now that are completely robotic, or is it still one?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I remember it was before, it was one of the worst working at Ascendum, so this was like 6 years ago. There was talk about it, I think federally, and I stopped at McDonald's in Blue Ash, Ohio, and there were like 3 people working there, and all they were doing was putting the burgers together. All the orders were automated. You went to a kiosk, typed it in, and they said number 9, and there were like 3 or 4 people working. It was it. I think one person was working the drive-through, but in the store, it was all kiosks.
There's nobody at the counter. There's not even pay machines. They're all the counters only pickups.
The COVID, you'd have like 1 or 2 people in the restaurant that when the drive-throughs were open, because they closed the dining area and all that. But there'd be like 1 or 2 persons in there, running it. So if you could just run. It's like 1 hour photo, right? like the machines and shit. When I did the photography stuff, you could literally, it does everything that the Super Lab did. It just did it within an hour. So it makes sense.
Yeah, that was 2018. Fall.
Yeah. And then
that was the last time I was at McDonald's, I think.
And when I was doing accounting, they were telling us about cashless society, and somebody asked the question, how are they going to make us stop using cash? And they said, no, businesses just have to stop accepting it.
Yeah. Well, they experiment, remember, during the COVID, when there was all this, I don't know about in Australia, but in
cashless,
the US,
we
had all of a sudden had coins shortage. Oh, there's a coin shortage.
Coin shortage, which I laughed about.
Government stopped issuing coins.
But it was bull crap. Well, it was to condition people to accept digital only.
Yeah.
Almost if you everything that happens,
Bill Gates was asked what happened. Yeah. Bill Gates wanted some law passed or something about everybody has to have a mandatory vaccine passport. And he says, well, what happens if people won't accept it? And he just smiled. Like,
well, then they just admitted in the EU that was just a bunch of bullshit.
Well, Japan just had a massive protest, and the government originally wrote off the protest, but when they saw that the numbers of protests reaching critical mass, that tens of thousands in every city were protesting, they threw out the UN treaty on pandemic awareness.
Yeah.
But the pandemic awareness was a bill originally created by Joe Biden, and it was given $1 billion. And guess who headed pandemic awareness? Bill Gates and FTX's brother.
Is that your? Must be your thing, David.
What's
to your right? What's behind you to your? Is that your right or left?
Right, your other right.
My left, my right, over here.
Yeah. What's that blue? See, it clips off. What in the world is that? Oh, that's the background. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm old.
Put on your glasses.
If I put on my glasses, I won't. At this distance, I won't see shite.
Yeah, see my arm. Yeah, see my arm. Right over here. I can tell you what's over here.
No, right. I see. Okay, that's the other hand.
Yeah. See,
which way is it? Where's my finger?
That's my right. That's my right.
That's a sound
right there. There's blue.
He said, "Where's my finger?"
Yeah, I see it. That's the background.
Well, I had to get it on camera, man. But right there's blue, but that's just the background.
Yeah.
See, and
then
it
goes
goes
the background.
And if we had real technology, I could go like this, and my hand would appear on David's camera.
Yeah. No, they reserved that technology. They reserved that CGI for NASA when they're faking moon landings. I'm just kidding. They carried out 9 out of 13. The other missions failed. They didn't show the 2. They only showed one of the failed missions. They didn't show the other 2. Although one failed apparently because.
But I don't want to be in story mode.
Well,
anyway, now shoot.
Well, you guys about done for the night? I'm all out of topics.
Well,
I'm all out of topics.
You know what? The TikTok ban is stupid because the TikTok we get is made in America. It's not the TikTok that's made in China.
Yeah. Well, and two, what's really like, yes, it's dumb that the Chinese government can see what you're doing, da 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 da. But say the same thing with Temu, all that other crap. The problem is the government shouldn't be able to ban anything because of speech.
Yeah. No, it's a gateway drug.
Yeah.
It's a gateway drug.
They're going to
do, right. Get them used to bans.
Next will be Rumble, and then it'll be Twitter, and then, right. But the
ones that they control,
Facebook and YouTube that they control, no, we'll just leave them up.
Parler said you can't take us down. So what do? Up the prices of their internet until they couldn't afford it anymore, and then bought them out.
Yeah. Unless you're running your own cable, anything can be shut down eventually.
Yeah. But even with digital, the biggest problem, as they said back when I was doing accounting, one of the biggest problems with digital is that it makes you susceptible to electronic warfare.
Yeah. So, but no, to answer your question, I'm pretty much done.
Yeah.
The dogs finally, they
just wanted to get in about the TikTok ban because it's stupid because you're not banning TikTok.
What are you doing?
The Chinese government allows foreign users on its TikTok. It's just more censored than the American version. And the American version already said they'll move to Russia. They don't care. They're done. Yeah. So it's not really, all it's doing is hurting Americans, taking away millions of jobs. Because really, for millions of people, TikTok's their only income now.
Yeah. Well, everybody thinks all 8 people on X, 1 person on the YouTube channel, 1 person on Dave's Twitch. There was I think there was 12 or 13 people over on Rumble.
Oh, wow.
So thank you, Rumble. We'll be live tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. for Coffee and Gaming.
Yeah, and you need to reject my privileges so that I can share on Twitch.
Oh, my bad.
That's all right. I could end the stream right now.
Now, I'm not on. I won't let me share on Facebook because the other day I posted a meme about Hunter Biden.
Well,
you
they don't like
wascal.
That. Yeah,
I'm a recidivist.
Sometime let's talk about the differences between New Zealand and Australian accents and why they exist.
Different demographics of migrants.
Until then, we'll
different brand of criminal.
Everybody's channel down below. It's all in the description. Anime Night goes live on Sundays. Dave goes live every day because I don't know what he's got going on. Channel Dad reviews beers sometimes.
Yeah, I got to get back into that. I got to get my life straightened out.
And I need to do videos, but I'm just too lazy. Apparently, no, I'm not lazy. I've got a lot going on. So, yeah, dude, it's just time.
Yeah, I might be asking you for some more pictures of your coop soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Inside. All right.
We will see you guys next time. Next Friday, we'll be live 9 p.m. And then always Saturday, 7 a.m. So you guys take it easy. We'll see you in the morning. Bye.
And goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye-bye. Good day, sir.
Later, dudes.
Good night, Jimbo.
Hell, I got to go.
Peace out.
Burn in hell, New World Order. Fuck you. You, New World Order. You, Bill Gates.